بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما مزيدا. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Today's class is from Pt.2 من صحيح Bukhari. And it starts off with Bab ma anzalallah da'an illa anzalallahum shifa. That Allah Azza wa Jal have not sent down a disease except He sent down with the disease its treatment. A side note, and it's a beneficial side note, before we start, is that we believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is above His creation. And as it relates to this treatment, there are two ways to treat as it relates to the Muslims. And these two methods of treating is the most precise. And that is by way of reciting various supplications or the Qur'an, or by natural ways, whether it's mentioned in the Qur'an or other than that. As Allah Azza wa Jal says, فِيهِمْ شِفَاء لِلنَّاسِ, that in honey it is a cure for mankind. So here, the first hadith is based on the chapter heading. حدثنا محمد ابن مثنى حدثنا أبو أحمد الزبيري حدثنا عمر ابن سعيد ابن أبي حسين قال حدثني عطاء ابن أبي رباح عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم قال ما أنزل الله داء إلا أنزل له شفاء. That Allah Azza wa Jalla have not sent down a disease except that He sent the treatment with its disease. And yesterday in our introduction we explained or made mention of various ahadith that will treat our sickness, because the sickness is divided into two, hissiya and ma'nawiya, meaning your body and mind sickness, and also the sickness of your heart. And we may mention that being obedient to Allah is the best ways to cure your sickness. And disobedient to Allah is the most easiest way to become sick and to affect others with your sickness. So we come to now in the second chapter, Bab هل تداوي الرجل المرأة أو مرأة الرجل. Can a man treat a woman or a woman treat a man? This is based on the hadith of the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام. حدثنا قتيبة ابن سعيد حدثنا بشر ابن مفضل عن خالد ابن ذكوان عن ربيع بنت معاوذ ابن عفران قالت كنا نغزو مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ونسقي قوم ونخدمهم ونرد قتلى وانجرحى إلى المدينة. This hadith is narrated by a woman, and this shows a very important thing in our religion, that the woman and the man as it relates to act of obedience are equal. As Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَيُعَذِّبَ الْمُنَافِقِينَ وَالْمُنَافِقَاتِ وَالْمُشْرِقِينَ وَالْمُشْرِقَاتِ وَيَتُوبُ اللَّهُ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ. That Allah Azza wa Jal is going to punish the male and the female hypocrite, and the male and the female polytheist. And Allah Azza wa Jal accept the repentance of the male and the female believer. Let me know that they are equal. So here this hadith is an encouragement for the woman to seek knowledge and to implement knowledge. To seek knowledge, to understand it, to implement knowledge and disseminate it. Like we see that a lot of people used to come to Aisha radiallahu anha for knowledge. And also her nephews used to come to her for knowledge. And we see shortly before Abi Hurairah radiallahu anhu died, he is the one that prayed over Aisha. So this is encouragement for women to seek knowledge, and she made mention that we used to participate or go on the military battles along with the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and provide the people that were on the battlefields with water, serve them, and bring the dead and the wounded back to Medina. What do you think the benefit is? Or from this, what can you highlight? Give me two things you can highlight that is in our discussion about medicine. Or three things.
How she just went with the medicine to bring back the people from the...
Good. They accompanied the Prophet on the military battles, and they helped bring back the wounded and the dead. Okay, good. So, what else? What else can be highlighted?
Women can treat.
Women can treat men. Good. What else can be highlighted? The wound and water. First of all, as it relates to the woman being treated, then if there is no other alternative, then yes, the woman can treat men, or vice versa. So a woman is not going to go to this hospital and is a male gynecologist. There's plenty of women gynecologists. He's probably maybe the 5 out of that city, because that's not the norm to be a gynecologist. A male gynecologist is not the norm. So if there's no other way, then no problem. And the other thing is that one have to protect themselves from falling into adultery or fornication or any wickedness. Also, water is important. Why is water important? You're talking about, okay, first of all, we're talking about the importance of water. We're talking about the importance of water on the battlefield. What can be so important about water on the battlefield? You're going to become thirsty and you fighting. So you need water to continue to fight. What else? Excellent. It cleans the wound. You need that to cleanse the wound. But water is not always the main thing to clean a wound. In chapter 4, we'll make mention of that. If you don't have water, or even if you do have water, you can use something else. As we come to it in chapter 4. What else? I see someone eating, so that means something's going to happen later. You got to go to the bathroom, so you need water to go to the bathroom. But that's not always the case, because if you don't have water, you can use dirt, or you could use the little pebbles. As it come in our right? Y'all with us, right? So, yep. And they served them. So, yep. And they treated the wounds. So wounds can be treated with water to cleanse it. But also, what are some of the other things that we can treat with wounds? That we know, and we have it in our house. Honey is the best thing. Okay? The other day yesterday we mentioned that there was a woman, she asked me, why do I like chewing on the sheetrock? So gypsum is used for wounds. I give you a gypsum. I give you an example. Someone have a cut, and you mix it with honey, the gypsum or vinegar, make it into a paste, and you put it on the wound. It does what? It cools the blood and stop the bleeding. And gypsum is one of the best things for people that are eating too much spicy things, that later they produce what? Affection of the gums and bad odor that you cannot shake. I don't care what you use. And your wife will not stay over there. I know what you're trying to say, but stay over there. So, we don't want to run away from the problem. We want to deal with the problem. And this happens, some things in our, because people that are just run away with the problem. No, all of us have something, a deficiency about us. But if we with one another, we aid one another. Y'all with us? So gypsum is one of the main things to remove the heat and to cool down the blood. Y'all with us? So if you get a cut, you want to use gypsum. And also the best thing you want to use is honey. Clear? Also, something that we are forgetting, right? The Sheikh made mention of it last night when we were eating. Garlic. Garlic is used to eliminate swelling. Why is it used to eliminate swelling? Because it's the spicy properties of it will invigorate the blood. And the swelling, because the fluids and the energy in the blood is stagnant. So by using garlic, it will help alleviate the swelling. No, we're talking about wounds. You with us? I think now he's in Queens. Sheikh Yusuf, he's in Queens now, right? He went to the Bronx on us or something, huh? Or Harlem or something, right? So, yep. So, and then after that, because in this same chapter, it says, narrated by Abdullah ibn Abbas, that the Prophet ﷺ says, the healing is in three things. The drinking of honey, cupping, and of branding with fire. But I forbid my followers to use branding with fire. Meaning that if there's no other means, then no problem. But in general, no. Because it can harm other organs. What we know as this chemotherapy thing that they do. You have prostate cancer, and then next thing you know, you got lung cancer. Anyway, the highlighting point that it burns. You don't want to burn other organs. So, anyway, honey is the thing that will aid us with wounds. Any small cuts, we want to use it, and then we're going to, on chapter 4, we'll get into details as it relates to that. So, I think that was 2, right? And 3, chapter 3 was that a hadith. طيب. Chapter 4 is dealing with the treatment of honey. I've been saying it for a long time, and our elder knowledge, the imam of this masjid, made mention of it yesterday, and other people have been made mention of it. We want to get away from CVS and all of this thing. But one thing before we go on is that we want to get away from that, and we really want to concentrate in using that which have came down, because that will have come down is revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah Azza wa Jalla is the one that created us, and He knows what's best for us. I'm not saying you can't use the other medication, but it's best to use that which is organic. As Hassan ibn Atiyah said, just like Angel Jibril was coming down with the Qur'an, likewise he was coming down with the Sunnah. So the treatment of honey. So the bottom line is, in order to utilize this or maximize on the usage of these natural things, we have to know, not, oh, my grandma told me, oh, my pop. No, we have to know it, the temperature, the taste, and the organ that it goes to. You with us? Temperature, taste, and the organ that it goes to. You with us? Huh? Even if you're not writing, you have to memorize it. You have to memorize it. And don't always rely on the recording, because something can go wrong. The Salaf, they went on this. Why the young guy led the people in the village? Because the people walking past, they was reciting Qur'an, so he memorized it. When he accepted Islam, he led the people, because he was the most knowledgeable. Aina nahnu min ha'ulai. You with us? And we'll make mention of something that also strengthens the memory. It's coming, bi'idhnillah. So the treatment of honey. So that which the text that comes, وَقَوْلِهِ تَعَالَى فِيهِ شِفَاءٌ لِلنَّاسِ, that we have to believe that is a cure for people. And the reason why we keep going to CVS and Rite Aid, because we don't believe it's a cure. We just think it's sweet. We don't believe that. But we'll go to that doctor and we'll believe, okay, that's all I got to do. We'll believe that. But that which came down from the way of revelation, we don't believe in that. That's why we're sick. Because we turn to things that really doesn't aid us. A small example, the woman. Allah gave her natural milk. She want to go to all of that store-made milk that gets your child sick and gets you sick and costs you in your pocket if you ain't getting no assistance from the government. Allah created you. He know what temperature the milk is going to be, what texture the milk is going to be, and how is it going to aid the child. But we don't want that. We want that. And He made it from you. وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. We got to reflect on these things, because we want our iman to go up, not down. So, the text that comes with that, Bab Tadawa bil Asl. And we made mention of the ayat, Tayyab. So, and Aisha radiallahu yani Hisham, it comes from Tayyab, حدثنا علي ابن عبد الله حدثنا أبو أسامة قال أخبرني هشام and أبي and Aisha radiallahu anha قالت كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يعجبه حلوى والعسل. That those things that was most beloved to Allah, a messenger or the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was the sweet things and honey. So now what I want you to do is draw a chart in your mind or on paper. So let's fill in this chart. Yesterday we made mention of anger. Anger, liver, and underneath of the liver you want to put sour.
Say it again. Sour.
Anger, liver, sour. Because yesterday we want to build on this chart. Right? So, anger, liver, sour. Y'all with us? And underneath of sour, green. The second chart is excessive happiness, heart, bitter, and red. Right? Red. You with us? Red. Huh? Happiness, excessive happiness, heart, and bitter, and red. The colors is the food that you need that's going to tonify that organ. Okay? So most of the time when you see red food like tomatoes, it aids the heart. Example, is a secondary medicine. Y'all with us? Tayyab? Huh? And all of this have a connection. Because if you see someone stuttering, most of the time, he's stuttering and it's coming from what? Stuttering. He's stuttering. It's coming from what? No, what organ is it coming from? His tongue. And the opening of the heart is in the tongue. So even if you don't know medicine, you know you have to tonify the heart. I lost you, huh? I'm trying to build you on it. Inshallah. Tayyab. So we have what?
Excessive happiness.
Excessive happiness, the heart, bitter, and red. And the organ we made mention is the tongue. Whereas the liver is the eye. And we'll get mention of that as a chapter on that. The eye. Tayyab, the third chapter. So yesterday we made mention of excessive thinking, pensiveness. And then after that it harms the spleen. And then the color is yellow. That's why, how many people just drunk coffee? Stick out your tongue and I guarantee you Allah knows best, in the middle is yellow. You can stick it out. No, you don't have to do it now, but that's how you examine. So coffee produces too much heat, and one of the things that produce too much heat is in our stomach. So if a person didn't drink coffee and you saw that yellowness on their tongue or greenish or blackish, you know they got too much heat in their stomach. So that's why you say, look, let me see your tongue. Did you drink coffee? Or they might just got finished smoking. The yellowness is going to be on their tongue, right there, in the middle of their tongue. You have a tongue, in the middle of it is going to be yellowish. That means excessive heat in that channel. I ain't lose you now, did I? Alright, everybody with me? And then after that, so you have what? You have the spleen, your pensiveness, the spleen, and then you have the taste is what? Sweet. And then yellow. The color of the food is yellow. Okay? Then after that, you have excessive greed or sadness. And then you have the lungs. And then you have spicy. And then you have white. You have white. Those white foods are good for the garlic, onions, right? It's good for the lungs. Right? Y'all with us? Then you have the last one. You have, we said fear. Excessive fear, right? What we said about fear? Allah may mention in the Qur'an, and then we gave an ayah, right? The fear what?
Makes you hot.
Prevents a woman from getting pregnant.
It prevents a woman from getting pregnant. Allah may mention, لا تقتلوا أولاد خشية من أملاق. Do not fear, kill your children because of fear. Killing your children for fear, because you fear that they're going to be poor, poverty, right? So you kill them. Allah said, don't do that. Why? Because after Allah promised that He's going to provide for you and them. Don't worry about it. We're going to provide for y'all. In other words, have Him. Y'all with us? And then the hadith we may mention is from the great sins that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud asked the Prophet, is he said what? From the greatest sins, one of them is three that he may mention. From one of them, and taqtulu walid khashiyah and yakulu mak, that you're going to kill him because you can't have that cheesesteak, that's mine. And sometimes we be treating our people like that. This is my refrigerator. Who told you to go in there and get it? Your stepson. Tell him get out my refrigerator. This is not the methodology of the Sunnah. Why? Because Umar ibn Abi Salama, the suckling brother of the Prophet ﷺ, after he died, he married what? Abu Salima. Salima. He married Salima. Right? And Umar was eating and his hands was going everywhere. That's a proof that they were eating together. So where we get this, tell him get out my refrigerator. Talking about your stepson. Where we get this from? We are a direct cause of splitting up our communities. Y'all with us? So anyway, to the end of the hadith, right? So we have fear. We have the kidneys. We have salty. Okay? And the color is black. Y'all looking at me like crazy. Why the kidney black? Right? But if you look in your eye, we're going to get to, if you look in your eye, what is the black portion? It's black. Right? The pupil is black. That's the kidney channel. It lets you know what disease you have in the kidney channel. So we'll get to it sometime. I'm sorry, I got all these alarms on my phone. Let me just turn it off. Y'all with us? So these tastes, these are the ones that age your body. Years ago, years ago, they didn't have all this vitamin C and all this stuff. They didn't have all that. The Chinese, when they ate, they had 5 flavors on their food, on their plate. And they were the most healthiest. Why? Because of these 5 flavors. Y'all with us? Of the 5 flavors. So we'll just deal with sweet. Honey, its temperature is neutral. Honey's temperature is neutral, and its taste is sweet. And the benefits of honey are many, but from them are 7 that we can benefit. The first thing is that it tonifies and it supplements energy. What's the meaning? If your energy is deficient, you are tired, shortness of breath, it will tonify it. It will bring up your energy level. And supplement it, it will add to it. Okay? So honey, the first thing, it tonifies and supplement energy. That's why we take honey. You with us? The second thing is that anything that is naturally sweet is a natural pain reliever. So we don't need no Advils because we have a headache. You with us? And there's a chapter on headache on here. Tell you, anything that is naturally sweet, it relieves pain. Tell you? That's why dates, it comes at the end of the chapter. Dates relieves abdominal pain. Honey relieves abdominal pain. Tayyib? And also pain due to hernia. Tayyib? So the first thing it does what? Honey does what? Tonifies and supplement energy. The second thing, it relieves pain. The third thing, it moistens dryness. So dryness, we talking about the fluids. So under the first chapter you have, in the liver channel chart, you have tears. In the heart you have, when it get hot, what happens? What you do? When you exercise, what you do? Sweat. So the sweat is the mechanism on cooling down the heart. And we'll get to some of the ins and outs later. So, yes, saliva is where? Where's saliva at? In your mouth. So your mouth area and your lips area is the spleen. Not the tongue, the mouth and the lips is the spleen. So sometimes if you want to know if someone have infection, especially early, like between 5 and 7 in the morning, you always look at their lips. Especially if people have acne and stuff like that. Between 5 and 7 early in the morning, you'll see this bright red if it's a man and he didn't put no lipstick on. They'll let you know he have an infection in that area, too much heat. You'll see a breakout, but you'll see the lips bright red. So, honey, it moistens dryness. So we said for the eye chart, the liver is tears. And this is very important because we see that one of the Salaf, Sa'id ibn Jubair, I think one of the students of Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, before he died he had excessive dry eyes. Why? Because he cried extensively because of the fear of Allah. So you need to know that in order to make the medicine that's going to aid you. So we say tears, right? The fluids for the heart is sweat. The fluids for the spleen is saliva. The fluids for the lungs is phlegm. And the fluids from for the kidney channel is the urine, or that which from the man that produce babies. Y'all with us? So, and all of these organs work with one another, but we'll get to it later. So, moisten dryness. So, you take honey because if any of these body fluids is dry, then it says something. You with us? It's going to harm you. So you got to know what channel you want to use honey for. You understand? Because sometimes you use it by itself, or sometimes you make it with something else. So honey and moisture and dryness, if you got dry eyes, you're not going to put honey in your eyes. You with us? You understand? So you have to know where to do it. You with us? So you have to know what channel or what organ is going to, aid. So honey is used for moistness as it relates to people in old age, because people in old age, they seems to be constipated because of the principle that we may mention: when energy and blood flows, illness goes. When you get up there, you start to slow down. So you're not moving as much, and now you're constipated. Y'all with us? And also, we use honey because you might have, what is this? What is that? Yeah, but what is that?
Steps.
What is that? Steps, yes, but what is those steps? What is that called? Membar. What does that mean to us? When do we use this in most cases? On Jumu'ah. In most cases on Jumu'ah. So what did that mean? Jumu'ah, so who's going to be on there? The Imam. So what you think he needs? He needs honey, because he's going to fire you up, right? He's going to do like the prophet. He's going to shake you up. So now his throat is dry. Y'all with us? So now you're going to give him some honey. Not that honey, this honey. Y'all with us? Also, honey stops coughs. And also dry coughs, chronic coughs, and also coughs that you have and you coughing up blood. Y'all with us? Also, honey harmonizes the intestines. What's the meaning of harmonize? It balances. So anything wrong in your intestines is going to what? Balance it out. So, in this hadith, we see that the person had abdominal pain, and the Prophet advised him to drink honey. He came complaining about his brother. My brother have abdominal pain. He told him drink honey. He came back. He told him drink honey. He came back. He told him drink honey. And then after that, he told him what? Allah spoke the truth, and his belly is lying. You with us? So honey is going to harmonize. So it's good for constipation. It's good for diarrhea. It's good for both of those. Y'all with us?
Eating straight up.
We'll get to it later, inshallah. Y'all with us? And it's good for diarrhea. It all depends on what type of diarrhea. Y'all with us? So we said it tonifies and supplements the energy. It relieves pain and moisten dryness. It stops coughs. It harmonizes the intestines. It detoxifies and disinfects. Detoxify meaning it get rid of those toxins, right? It cleanses your body, or cleanses that area that you're using the honey for, right? So he said drink honey. The Prophet told him to drink honey. Regardless what he did is going to cleanse his body. Y'all with us? And the other thing is that is used for external, for eczema, cuts, or open wounds. Y'all with us?
Apply it external.
External, you apply it. And also honey is the best thing for cleansing your gums. The best cleanser. Leave it on there 10 minutes, warm it off with hot water. The best thing, honey. You with us? The Prophet gave us the siwak, but also he informed us about honey. And I want to add to it, is one of the best things to aid your mouth as it relates to infections in your mouth. So the dosage of it is, it all depends what you're making it for, right? So now we want to get into details. We want to get into details, right, as it relates to, before they break us up, respiratory tract infection. Honey is used for respiratory tract infections. Anything dealing with chronic bronchitis, cough, chronic dry cough, and sore throat, and 4 things. So we use it for bronchitis, cough, chronic cough, and sore throat, right? And also to add to that, we just said, since it's up there, and you use it for your gums, right? Tayyib. Why people have bronchitis is because people are not eating good. Tayyib. So this type of bronchitis is dealing with lack of fluids in the lungs and lack of and insufficient fluids in the kidneys, both of them. So let's visualize this. When you eat and drink, your food goes to your spleen. It has to do two main functions. It has to transform it, so that means it needs to be warmed up to transform. And it needs to transport it to the lungs and then the kidneys. Y'all with us? The two main functions when the food and the drink goes in your body, it needs to do what? Transform it and then transport it. So when you eat and drink, it's going where? Down. It's very important because most of the illness that we know that comes up is because of the stomach area. It's not going down proper. Whether nausea, vomiting, hiccup, burping, or to the end, right? So as a reflex to the end, right? Okay? So, if your spleen is deficient in that function, it have to put the good nutrients in the lungs. The lungs have oxygen and also the food nutrients and drink and take that, and it must take it down to the kidneys. Y'all with me? The kidneys have two sides. It receives it, but it have a heating system, but it relying on the heart to give energy to it so it can heat those fluids up. Now, the kidneys must steam it up. And now the lungs is responsible for dispersing that throughout the whole body and making sure your skin is moist. And what happens? People have problem with breathing. Why? Because the spleen is deficient, and then the lung is deficient, and the kidneys is trying to get it down. Can't get it down. So now they have problems, and they make millions of dollars off us yearly during the cold season. Y'all with us? So the symptoms of having deficient fluids in your lungs or your kidneys, you'll have dry cough, dry throat, chronic shortness of breath, weakness in knees and back. Okay, so the chronic cough, the dry cough, dry throat, chronic shortness of breath, all of that is the lung problem. There's not enough fluids in that. The weakness of the knees and the back, you don't have enough fluids to aid the kidney channel. So now it's sore, weak. So if someone says I have sore knees, I have the first thing you think about is the imbalance of the kidneys. Even if you don't know what a kidney does or the kidney does do. Y'all with us? Then after that, we say that, and they have a temperature. They have a temperature that comes back at night, or you'll find their palms, their body is one temperature, but the palms and feet are hot. So how we know is a deficiency in the kidneys is that the kidneys is responsible for the fluids. Right? And what did we say that one time the Prophet he came out late and the companions and to make Isha, and they were doing what? The companions were doing what before they made the salat? They were nodding. So at nighttime, that's we call the yin period. So at nighttime, if something happened at nighttime, that means you're going to be deficient in the fluids. And that's why that fever come back, because it's an empty heat. If you don't have fluids, it create heat in those channels. Let's stop for this one now. Ready? Try up, right? So, what do we do in order? You ready?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So, we don't want to just tell you the problem. Now we want to tell you how to aid the problem. Because in some of the books of Fatawa, you will say, what? I got sick in the village and I have to come down. Some people don't have access to medicine. Some people are locked up. Some people are in different villages that doesn't have access. So what you want to do? You with us? So now I have a diet for you. But how do you implement this diet? If you have deficiency of fluids in your lungs and your kidneys, you have to what? Supplement the fluids in your lungs and supplement the fluids in your kidney. You have to bring more fluids in there, and then the problem will go away by Allah's permission. But our discussion was under honey, right? Honey will treat it. So those things that will aid them tremendously is pears, tangerines, and figs, and apricot kernels, or apricots, but apricot kernels. Pears, the temperature is cold or cool, and its taste is sweet. So anything that is sweet, we say it is natural, is a natural what? Pain reliever. So the pears, it goes to the organ in the stomach. The lungs in the stomach. Whenever you have a problem with the lungs and the stomach, you always want to use pears. If it's the opposite. Why? Because when the Prophet had a fever, or when he was fasting, he poured water over himself. Or a fever, it may mention use water. So the prophetic medicine is used the opposite. So if you have deficient fluids in the lungs and the kidneys, it's going to produce heat. Y'all with us? And people that drive cars, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't have enough fluids in the cars to the end, right? So the pears, it goes to the lungs and the stomach. So what the pears do is remove heat. And the medicine is not going to do it. So you got to remove the heat. And then after remove the heat, what is the lung suffering from? What are the lungs suffering from? Lack of fluids. When you eat pears, it removes the heat, but it gives you additional fluids. Y'all with us? Also, a moist and dryness. So pears is going to take one of the problems that they were suffering from is what? Chronic bronchitis, they suffer from what? Dry what? Dry throat. Because the lungs is responsible for moisture in this area. And in that and the fourth channel of your chart, you have lungs, but the organ that works with the lungs is the large intestines. So we say that when you eat, the good nutrients go to all of the food and drink go to the spleen and have to transform and transport the good nutrients to the lungs and then the kidneys, right? But the spleen have to transport it to the stomach. And the stomach take it to the small and then the large intestines and out. So the highlighting point is that the lungs work with the large intestine. So if you dry in the lungs, you're going to be dry where? You're going to be constipated. You may be suffering from dry throat or dry cough, but also you're going to be constipated. So if you constipated, what? There's not enough fluids there. And this incident. In this case, the pears is going to take care of that. Y'all with us? Also, it strengthens the muscle regenerations. Pears. It prevents dry mouth and dry lips. It prevents dry and hot cough and sore throat. It treats constipation and restlessness. Why? Because if your fluids are dry, it's going to disturb your mind. And also, pears relieve the phlegm that is also yellow. It removes, or green, it removes that phlegm. People are suffering with sinus and the phlegm. You ask them what type of phlegm you have. Is it green? Is it yellow? Okay, you need pears. Why? Because it removes that phlegm from your body. The tissue is not going to remove it. Y'all with us? Also, figs is neutral to cool. And it's sweet. So anything that is sweet, we'll stop, inshallah. Because of the salat, inshallah.